There comes a moment in every life when the heart grows tired of chasing the approval of people. A moment when you realize that no matter how hard you try, there will always be voices that question you, doubt you, and misunderstand the path you are walking. For too long, many people carry the heavy burden of trying to please everyone around them. They measure their worth by applause, by acceptance, by the nods and smiles of others. But deep inside, there is a quiet truth waiting to be discovered. Your strength was never meant to come from the approval of the crowd. Your strength was meant to rise from within. When a person begins to live only for the approval of others, they slowly lose sight of who they truly are. Their decisions become shaped by fear of rejection. Their dreams become smaller because they worry about criticism. Their voice becomes quiet because they are afraid someone might disagree. Yet the human spirit was not created to live in chains of opinion. It was created to stand with courage, to walk with purpose, and to live with conviction, even when the world does not understand. There is a powerful freedom that begins to grow the moment you stop asking the world for permission to be who you were created to be. The moment you stop looking around for validation and start looking within for direction, something remarkable begins to happen. Your confidence grows stronger. Your mind becomes clearer. Your steps become firmer. The noise of other people's expectations begins to fade, and in that silence you finally hear the voice that has been guiding you all along. Strength is not built when everyone agrees with you. Strength is built when you stand firm even when they do not. It grows in the moments when you choose integrity over popularity, purpose over praise, and truth over approval. The strongest people in this world are not those who are loved by everyone. They are the ones who learned how to keep walking forward even when applause disappeared. When you release the need for approval, you also release the fear that once controlled your life. You begin to understand that your value does not rise or fall based on someone else's opinion. Your worth is deeper than that. Your purpose is greater than that. And the journey placed before you is too important to be shaped by the temporary judgments of others. Today is an invitation to step into that freedom. To stop shrinking yourself just to fit inside someone else's expectations. To stop waiting for permission to pursue the life that burns inside your heart. Because the moment you stop seeking approval is the very moment you begin discovering the strength that has been waiting inside you all along. And that strength has the power to change the direction of your life in ways you never imagined. There comes a moment in life when a person must decide whose voice will guide their journey. All around us there are opinions, advice, criticism, and expectations coming from every direction. People tell you what you should become, how you should live, what risks you should avoid, and what dreams are too big to chase. If you listen to every voice around you, you will spend your whole life walking in circles, trying to satisfy people who do not even understand the purpose placed inside your heart. Real strength begins the day you stop letting the noise of other people's opinions control the direction of your life and start trusting the quiet but powerful voice within you. Every person carries an inner compass. It is that deep feeling inside that tells you when something is right for you and when something is not. It is the whisper that reminds you that you are capable of more than the world believes. But many people ignore that voice because they are afraid of being judged, misunderstood, or criticized. They silence their own truth just to fit into the comfort of other people's expectations. They trade their calling for approval, and in doing so, they slowly lose the power that was meant to shape their destiny. When you begin to trust your own voice, something powerful starts to change inside you. You stop looking over your shoulder for permission. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you are ready. Instead, you start moving forward with confidence, guided by the belief that your life has a purpose that no one else can define. This does not mean you reject wisdom or ignore advice, but it means you understand that the final decision about your path belongs to you. There will always be people who doubt you. Some will say your goals are unrealistic. Others will tell you to play it safe, to stay small, to avoid the risk of failure. But those voices do not know the battles you have fought, the strength you have built, or the vision that lives in your heart. Their opinions come from their own fears, their own limitations, and their own experiences. If you allow those opinions to control your choices, You will end up living a life shaped by someone else's fears instead of your own courage. Trusting your own voice requires courage because it often means standing alone for a while. There may be moments when people question your decisions or fail to understand your direction, but history has shown again and again that the people who create meaningful change in their lives are the ones who listen to the voice inside them when no one else believes. They refuse to shrink their dreams just to make others comfortable. They move forward step by step, guided by faith in themselves and the purpose they carry. The beautiful thing about trusting your own voice is that it strengthens you with every decision you make. Each time you choose conviction over approval, your confidence grows. Each time you follow your instincts instead of fear, your courage becomes stronger. Slowly, you begin to realize that the power you were searching for in other people's approval was inside you all along. The voice within you becomes clearer, steadier, and more certain with every step you take. Life was never meant to be lived according to a script written by someone else. Your story is unique. Your struggles, your lessons, and your dreams all come together to form a path that only you can walk. When you trust your own voice, you begin to honor that uniqueness. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop measuring your worth by how closely your life matches someone else's expectations. Instead, you start building a life that reflects your truth, your passion, and your purpose. This kind of confidence does not appear overnight. It grows through experience, through challenges, and through moments when you choose to stand firm, even when doubt tries to creep in. There will be days when the voices of criticism seem louder than your own belief. But those are the moments when trusting yourself matters the most. Because every time you rise above that noise, you prove to yourself that your path is worth walking. In the end, the opinions of others will always change. People will praise you one day and question you the next. If your confidence depends on their approval, your peace will always be unstable. But when your strength comes from trusting your own voice, no outside opinion can shake your foundation. You begin to walk with a quiet confidence that does not need applause to continue forward. And as you continue listening to that voice within you, you start to discover a deeper sense of purpose guiding every step you take. You become stronger, not because everyone agrees with you, but because you finally understand that your life was never meant to be directed by the crowd. It was meant to be led by the conviction in your heart, the courage in your spirit, and the unwavering belief that the voice inside you was placed there for a reason. And that reason is calling you to keep moving forward, no matter who doubts, no matter who questions, and no matter who refuses to understand, because the path of real strength belongs to the one who chooses to trust their own voice and keep walking forward, even when the world tries to tell them to turn back. There is a silent struggle that many people carry every day, a struggle to feel worthy only when someone else notices them, praises them, or approves of what they are doing. From a young age, the world teaches people to look outward for validation. Good grades bring applause, success brings recognition, and approval from others becomes a measure of personal value. Over time, many people begin to believe that their confidence must come from the reactions of those around them. But the truth is far more powerful than that. Real confidence is not something handed to you by the crowd. It is something built inside you when you learn to stand tall even when the crowd is silent. When a person depends on external validation, their peace becomes fragile. One compliment can lift them high, but one criticism can pull them down just as quickly. Their confidence rises and falls based on opinions that constantly change. The world becomes a stage where they feel they must perform perfectly just to feel accepted. But life was never meant to be lived like that. Our value is never meant to depend on how loudly others applaud your efforts. True confidence begins the moment you realize that your worth is not something others get to decide. It is something you recognize within yourself. It grows when you begin to understand that the effort you put in, the discipline you practice, and the courage you show every day are meaningful, whether anyone notices them or not. Confidence becomes stronger when it is rooted in character instead of attention. There will be moments when the work you do goes unseen. You will invest time, energy, and heart into goals that others may not understand. Sometimes people will overlook your progress or fail to recognize your dedication. In those moments, it is easy to feel discouraged if your confidence depends on their acknowledgement. But if your belief in yourself is built on something deeper, those moments become opportunities to strengthen your inner foundation. Confidence without external validation is built through quiet victories. It grows when you wake up early to work on a dream no one else sees yet. It grows when you keep improving your skills even when there is no applause waiting at the finish line. It grows when you refuse to quit simply because recognition has not arrived. These moments shape a kind of strength that no outside opinion can take away. When you stop searching for validation, you begin to focus on growth. Your attention shifts from trying to impress others to becoming the best version of yourself. Instead of asking whether people approve of your journey, you begin asking whether you are staying true to your purpose. That change in focus transforms the way you move through life. Your actions become guided by integrity rather than approval. There is a powerful freedom in living this way. You no longer feel the pressure to constantly prove your worth to everyone around you. You no longer feel the need to explain every decision you make. Instead, you move forward with quiet determination, trusting that your path does not require constant validation to be meaningful. That freedom allows your confidence to grow naturally, like a tree whose roots run deep beneath the surface. People who find confidence within themselves carry a different kind of presence. They do not need to announce their strength or demand recognition. Their actions speak for them. Their consistency speaks for them. Their resilience speaks for them. When challenges appear, they do not collapse under doubt because their belief in themselves was never dependent on praise in the first place. Life will always bring moments of criticism, misunderstanding, and silence from those you hoped would support you. But those moments do not define your value. What defines you is the way you respond to them. When you continue moving forward with determination, you prove that your confidence is rooted in something far stronger than the approval of others. Every step you take without needing validation strengthens your independence. Every decision guided by your own values strengthens your character. Over time, you begin to realize that the greatest victories are not the ones celebrated by the crowd. The greatest victories are the ones that shape who you become when no one is watching. Confidence built this way becomes steady and unshakable. It does not disappear when criticism appears. It does not shrink when applause fades. It remains strong because it is grounded in self-respect, discipline, and purpose. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. And that knowledge gives you a power that no outside opinion can control. As you continue walking this path, something remarkable begins to happen. The same world whose validation you once chased begins to notice the quiet strength you carry. But by that time, you no longer need their approval to believe in yourself. Your confidence has already been built in the moments when no one was clapping, no one was watching, no one was watching, and no one was validating your journey. And that is the moment when your strength truly rises. Because you have learned that the most powerful confidence in life does not come from the voices around you, but from the unwavering belief inside you that keeps pushing you forward, keeps sharpening your character, keeps lifting your spirit, and keeps reminding you that the greatest approval you will ever need is the one that comes from knowing you stayed true to your purpose and kept moving forward with courage, even when the world remained silent for a long time. Many people move through life carrying a heavy and invisible burden. It is the burden of trying to please everyone around them. They adjust their words, their actions, their dreams, and sometimes even their identity just to avoid disappointing someone. They say yes when their heart wants to say no. They follow paths that others approve of instead of paths that truly inspire them. At first, it may seem harmless, even kind, to keep everyone happy. But over time, that constant need to please others slowly drains your energy, your confidence, and your sense of direction. The truth is that living your life for the satisfaction of everyone else is an impossible mission. No matter how hard you try, someone will always disagree with your choices. Someone will always wish you had taken a different road. Opinions are endless. Expectations are endless. And if you try to satisfy them all, you will end up losing the most important voice in the process, your own. Real freedom begins when you recognize that your life was never meant to be controlled by the approval of every person around you. Breaking free from the need to please everyone starts with a P. Overfull realization. You are not responsible for managing every person's expectations. You are not responsible for making everyone comfortable with your decisions. Your responsibility is to live with integrity, to pursue your purpose, and to stay true to the values that define who you are. When you begin to understand this truth, a shift starts to happen inside you. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. For someone who has spent years trying to keep everyone happy, saying no can feel like breaking a rule that was never written but always expected. There may be moments when people question your choices or react with disappointment because you are no longer bending to their expectations. But those moments are not signs that you are doing something wrong. They are signs that you are finally beginning to live honestly. Strength grows when you stop shrinking yourself to fit inside other people's comfort zones. When you stop apologizing for pursuing the goals that matter to you. When you stop seeking permission to follow the path that feels right in your heart. That kind of strength is not loud or aggressive. It is steady, calm, and deeply rooted in self-respect. The moment you release the need to please everyone, you also release the constant pressure that has been weighing on your mind. Your decisions become clearer because they are no longer filtered through the fear of disappointing someone. Your focus becomes sharper because your energy is no longer scattered in every direction trying to satisfy every opinion. Instead, you begin to move forward with purpose. There is something powerful about a person who understands that their worth does not depend on constant approval. They carry themselves differently. Their confidence is not built on how many people agree with them. Their confidence is built on knowing they are living truthfully. They know that respect begins with respecting their own boundaries. Breaking free from people-pleasing does not mean becoming careless about others. Kindness and compassion still matter. Listening to others still matters. But there is a difference between being kind and losing yourself in the process. Real balance comes from caring about people without surrendering your identity to their expectations. As you grow stronger in this mindset, you begin to see something clearly that you may have missed before. The people who truly respect you will not require you to sacrifice your authenticity just to keep them satisfied. They will understand that you have your own journey to walk. They will appreciate your honesty even when they do not fully agree with your choices. And those who cannot accept that may slowly drift away from your path. At first, that may feel difficult, but sometimes losing the approval of certain people is necessary for gaining the freedom to become who you are meant to be. Not everyone is meant to travel every part of your journey with you. The greatest leaders, creators, and changemakers in the world did not rise by pleasing everyone around them. They rose by standing firm in their vision, even when it made others uncomfortable. They understood that progress requires courage. And courage often requires stepping beyond the expectations that try to hold you back. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, you strengthen your character. Every time you stand by your values, even when it would be easier to conform, you build a deeper level of self-respect. Slowly, the fear of disappointing others begins to fade, replaced by the quiet confidence of knowing you are living in alignment with your purpose. Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying the impossible responsibility of satisfying everyone. Your energy returns, your creativity expands, your vision becomes clearer because you are no longer distracted by the endless task of trying to meet every expectation around you. And in that freedom, you begin to discover a deeper strength within yourself. The strength that comes from living honestly, making decisions with courage, and trusting that your path does not need universal approval to be meaningful, because the moment you stop trying to please everyone is the moment you finally start living a life that belongs completely to you, and that life continues moving forward with purpose, clarity, and a confidence that grows stronger with every step you take beyond the expectations that once tried to control you. There is a force inside every human being that often goes unnoticed until life begins to test it. That force is the power of self-belief. Many people search for strength in the approval of others, in recognition in opportunities handed to them by the world. But the strongest foundation a person can ever build comes from believing in themselves even when no one else sees the vision that lives in their heart. Inner strength is not given to you by the crowd. It is built quietly through the courage to trust who you are and what you are capable of becoming. Life will challenge you in ways you never expected. There will be moments when doors close, when plans fall apart, when people doubt your potential, and when circumstances try to convince you that your dreams are too far away. In those moments, the voice of doubt can grow loud. It whispers that maybe you are not strong enough, maybe you are not ready, maybe you should step back and choose an easier path. But those are the very moments when self-belief becomes the most powerful tool you possess. Self-belief does not mean thinking life will always be easy. It means trusting that no matter what obstacles appear, you have the strength to face them. It means understanding that failure is not the end of your journey, but part of the process that shapes your growth. Every challenge you overcome becomes another brick in the foundation of your inner strength. When you begin to believe in yourself deeply, something remarkable happens to the way you approach life. Fear no longer controls your decisions. Doubt no longer stops you from taking action. Instead, you begin to move forward with a determination that comes from knowing your potential is greater than the obstacles in front of you. That belief becomes a quiet fire inside you, pushing you to keep going even when the road gets difficult. The world often rewards visible success, but the real transformation happens long before anyone notices your progress. It happens in the early mornings when you choose discipline over comfort. It happens in the late nights when you continue working toward your goals while others have already given up. Those moments may not bring applause, but they build something far more valuable. They build character. Inner strength grows each time you refuse to let failure define you. It grows when you stand up after being knocked down and continue moving forward with even greater determination. The person who learns to believe in themselves during difficult times becomes nearly unstoppable because their confidence is not based on temporary victories. It is rooted in the knowledge that they have the resilience to rise again. One of the most powerful truths in life is that belief shapes reality. When you believe that you are capable of growth, you begin to act with courage. When you believe that your efforts matter, you continue pushing forward even when progress feels slow. But when you allow doubt to dominate your mind, your actions begin to shrink. Your potential becomes limited not by the world, but by the fear inside your own thoughts. Building inner strength through self-belief requires patience. It is not something that appears overnight. It develops step by step through consistent effort and determination. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows stronger. Each time you face a challenge instead of avoiding it, your belief deepens. Slowly, you begin to realize that you are capable of far more than you once imagined. There will always be voices around you offering opinions about what you should or should not attempt. Some people may underestimate your ability. Others may project their own fears onto your dreams. But their doubts do not define your limits. Your limits are defined by the courage you choose to show and the belief you choose to hold on to when things get difficult. When a person builds their life on self-belief, they develop a quiet kind of power. It is not loud or arrogant. It is steady and grounded. It shows in the way they face challenges without hesitation. It shows in the way they continue working toward their vision, even when the outcome is uncertain. That kind of strength inspires others, not because it demands attention, but because it demonstrates what is possible when someone truly believes in themselves. Over time, you begin to see that the greatest victories in life are not the moments when the world finally recognizes your success. The greatest victories are the moments when you realize that your belief in yourself never depended on the world's recognition. In the first place, you kept moving forward because you trusted your purpose, trusted your effort, and trusted that every step was shaping you into someone stronger than you were before. And as that belief continues to grow within you, it transforms the way you walk through life, filling you with a determination that refuses to surrender. Then, a resilience that rises above every obstacle, and a confidence that keeps pushing you forward day after day. Because you understand that the greatest strength you will ever build is the strength that comes from believing in yourself when no one else can yet see the greatness that is already growing inside you. There comes a turning point in life when a person begins to understand that pretending to be someone else is one of the heaviest burdens they can carry. For years, many people move through the world wearing masks, adjusting their personality, their words, and sometimes even their dreams just to avoid judgment. They worry about what others will think, how they will be perceived, whether they will be accepted or criticized. Slowly, they begin to shape their lives around the opinions of the crowd. But deep inside, there is always a quiet voice reminding them that they were never meant to live that way. Living authentically begins the moment you decide that your truth is more important than the approval of others. It begins when you stop trying to fit into every expectation placed on you and start embracing who you truly are. This kind of courage is not always easy because the world often encourages conformity. It rewards people who follow the familiar path and sometimes questions those who choose a different direction. But authenticity has a power that imitation will never possess. Every person carries a unique combination of experiences, dreams, talents, and perspectives that no one else in the world can fully replicate. That uniqueness is not a weakness to hide. It is a strength to embrace. When you live authentically, you allow that strength to guide your decisions. You stop asking whether your life fits someone else's idea of success and start asking whether your actions align with your own values and purpose. Fear of judgment is one of the biggest obstacles that prevents people from living honestly. The thought of being misunderstood or criticized can make someone hesitate to express their true thoughts or pursue the goals that inspire them. But the truth is that judgment will exist no matter what path you choose. Even when you try to satisfy everyone, there will always be someone who disagrees. Once you realize this, something powerful begins to shift in your perspective. Instead of spending your energy trying to control how others perceive you, you begin focusing on living with integrity. Your actions become guided by truth rather than approval. Your voice becomes clearer because you are no longer filtering every word through the fear of criticism. That kind of honesty creates a sense of freedom that many people spend years searching for. Authentic living requires self-awareness. It requires taking the time to understand what truly matters to you, rather than blindly following expectations handed down by others. It means recognizing your strengths and accepting your imperfections without pretending to be flawless. Real authenticity is not about presenting a perfect image to the world. It is about being genuine in your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions. There will be moments when living authentically feels uncomfortable. When you choose honesty over popularity, some people may question your choices. They may not understand why you refuse to follow the same path they are walking. But those reactions are not signs that you are wrong. They are reminders that courage often stands apart from the crowd. The people who inspire the world are rarely the ones who spend their lives blending in. They are the ones who embrace their individuality and refuse to silence their voice. They show that it is possible to walk with confidence even when the road is uncertain. They remind others that life becomes far more meaningful when it is lived with honesty. When you release the fear of judgment, your mind becomes lighter. You no longer feel constant pressure to perform or impress. Instead, you focus on growth, purpose, and the impact you want to create in your own life and the lives of others. Your energy shifts from protecting an image to building a reality that reflects who you truly are. Authenticity also builds stronger relationships. When you are genuine with others, you create connections based on truth rather than appearances. The people who remain in your life will appreciate the real person behind the image. Those connections are far more valuable than temporary approval based on pretending to be someone you are not. Over time, you begin to realize that judgment loses its power when you stop allowing it to control your choices. Opinions may still come and go, but they no longer shape the direction of your life. Your confidence grows because you understand that your identity is not defined by the shifting opinions of others. The most powerful part of living authentically is the sense of peace that comes with it. When your actions align with your values, there is no need to hide, pretend, or constantly explain yourself. You walk with clarity because you know you are being true to the person you were created to be. And as you continue embracing that truth, you begin to discover a deeper strength inside you, the strength that allows you to move forward without hesitation, speak honestly without fear, and pursue your purpose with confidence. Because you understand that life becomes truly powerful when you stop living for the approval of the crowd and start living with the courage to be exactly who you are meant to be while continuing to walk your path with conviction, no matter who chooses to judge along the way. In the end, The journey of growing stronger when you stop seeking approval is really the journey of discovering who you truly are. It is the moment when you stop chasing the applause of the crowd and start listening to the quiet strength rising inside your own heart. Because the truth is, the world will always have opinions. Some will praise you, some will question you, and some will doubt the path you choose. But none of those voices can define your purpose unless you allow them to. Real strength appears when you stand firm in your values, when you trust your own direction, and when you continue walking forward even when approval is nowhere to be found. That is where confidence is born. That is where courage begins to grow. And that is where your life starts to reflect the power that has always lived within you. When you release the need to please everyone, you gain something far more valuable than approval. You gain freedom. Freedom to think clearly, freedom to pursue your dreams, and freedom to live a life that is honest and meaningful. So walk your path with confidence. Trust the voice inside you. Keep building your strength one decision at a time, knowing that the moment you stop seeking approval is the very moment you begin becoming the strongest version of yourself.